Okay, we're back. Hey, everybody. So,
some technical difficulties.
funny story. I ran out of disk space in on my C drive, and then Audacity said, "Oh, you ran out of space. Let me crash."
And not save anything.
And then I tried to recover it, and then it said nope. And then we lost all of Aaron's more than hour-long discussion, and most of Mitchell's discussion, and a lot of discussion before then, and it's really sad. We'll give you a quick highlights of this.
Or just do a quick abridge.
Yes, so we start off. Also, Aaron's a speaker, a portable speaker right now.
Yeah, he died.
Yes. I've become one with the machine.
Yes. So we start off by talking about Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance because we played that. I played that, and they watched, and it was a lot of fun. The memes are the DNA of the soul.
Yeah, and then I played it as well.
Yes, Mitchell played it as well, and he, I think, put more time into one playthrough than I did in either of my playthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is the norm around here because Mitchell is a fiend.
Yep, I gotta complete things.
But he won't get S rank on every mission.
Nope.
Then Aaron had a lot of talk about movies. Aaron, give us some highlights.
All right, yeah. Coherence is a good movie. It's on Hulu. Go watch it. It's crazy and super low budget, but also very good. And then go play Omori. Game came out in 2020. Very good. Coming to Switch very soon. Apparently has new content on it, so that's cool. Go play it.
And also, he watched is getting into Clan App Store, and it's amazing, and he needs to watch more.
Yes, I do. Yes.
The new Spider-Man movie is apparently really good.
It is.
Yes.
And West Side Story is a good movie.
Very good.
All right, me.
Those are some highlights from Aaron's week. Mitchell, highlights from your week, real quick.
I've been playing a bunch of old games that barely work.
Yes.
Like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline and Tales of Fantasia, which is the first Tales game.
Oh.
I finally beat both of them, though. Still can't beat Hades, though. And definitely did not reveal too much about my preference for goth girls or anything.
No, of course not. No, of course not. Don't worry. Mitchell totally doesn't have a thing for goth medical people who will experiment on him and have heels to step on him.
I never said anything but the heels! You shut your mouth! Putting words in my mouth like that! Don't you dare!
Oh, it might have been worth losing the whole recording just for that moment.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I read stuff. Can I jump in really quick?
Yes, please.
All right, go back.
Because I forgot to mention, because I totally forgot to mention. I read a book about a kid who has no emotions. I think I may have talked about it the last time we were on. But I read that, and that was pretty good. It's a Korean book, very interesting. Then I started on The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah!
Yay!
And I'm really enjoying it. I think I definitely like it more than Elantris, I think.
Yeah,
Like I love all of the like Western / Victorian era inspirations. I really like the villain of this story. I think he's an awesome villain.
Oh yeah.
I love all of the fight scenes, like how they're described. My one friend described it as being very cinematic, and I think that holds true for The Alloy of Law, especially.
Yeah.
Because like all of the gun choreography is great, or well written anyway.
Yeah. I think when Brandon finally gets his adaptations, I think Mistborn Era 2 is going to have the smoothest transition from book to film. Yeah.
I agree.
Because,
I agree with that.
Man, like I can when I'm reading it, I can see how the film's playing out in my head.
Yeah.
And even though he looks nothing like Wax on the covers, as I read the books, I started seeing him as being played by David Tennant.
You know what? That's fair.
And I can very easily see it, and it would be awesome, and I hope it happens because I like David Tennant.
Yeah. I think Wayne is probably my favorite character so far. I love all of his slapsticky goodness. I just love it when he impersonates people. That's really great. I'm trying to think, like, I can certainly see why people said it's really pulpy and why some people may not like it as much as the other ones. But honestly, I don't think anything that people have said are negatives about the book that really bothered me at all. Like all the pulpy action and things like that. I think it's really only positives.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd rank it in comparison to the first trilogy. In general, I like stuff that's the more modern you get, the more I tend to like it. I'm just not the biggest fan of like medieval fantasy, if I'm being completely honest. I do really enjoy the Victorian era stuff. I still really enjoyed Mistborn, the first trilogy. It really surprised me in a very good way, and I'm absolutely adoring the Alloy of Law. I cannot wait to see what happens next, because I'm sure, if I cannot possibly foresee what comes after this one, because I'm very close to the end now, and I'm like, dang, wow, they're going to have to start throwing in a bunch of stuff to have enough conflict for the next book.
Yeah,
but I'm sure there will be some.
That is one of the issues with Era 2. It, like, especially Alloy of Law. Alloy of Law feels like almost like a prequel to the rest of Era 2.
Yeah, that's how I would. That seems very adequate, because it feels like I am almost towards the end of the book, and it really just feels like it's just started ramping up.
Yeah.
Like they just introduced the main villain, like only a few chapters ago. It's like, wow, dang, that's kind of late.
And would you even guess that Steris is one of the main supporting characters of Era 2?
No, I would not guess that in the slightest. Because she has about like 5 pages maybe of dialogue.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Or 5 pages that she's in.
She is my easily far and away my favorite character of Era 2, and I'd put her up alongside my favorite characters of Era 1.
Dang.
But that's only after reading all 3 of the books.
Wow. Yeah,
and
okay.
Honestly, with Lost Metal coming out, slated to come out like maybe late this year, I think, or early next year, I am most excited for more Steris, in all honesty.
Is that Mistborn Era 3?
No, that's still Mistborn Era 2. Lost Metal is the last book.
Oh, they haven't finished it yet. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
I thought he had finished.
No, he's been writing that, like, Mistborn was like the only one that he wrote Mistborn Era 1 all in one go, and released it all in one one after another. But that's the only one he's done that with. The rest, even when he was writing Wheel of Time, he was writing, like, also working on Mistborn Era 2, also working on The Way of Kings, and so I think Way of Kings was released before Alloy of Law even.
Okay.
And Alloy of Law started off as like a little short story that he was going to do, and then it just expanded into, I'll do a whole new era of Mistborn.
Yeah.
Because it's Brandon Sanderson.
Yep.
No, Brandon freaking Sanderson, man.
So I'm not. There's stuff being set up that I'm not entirely sure is even going to be resolved in Era 2, because I think he's setting up stuff for Era 3, which is supposed to be like an 80s spy thriller.
Ooh, that's
which
strange.
I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'd love to see how that plays out.
And then he's also said he's interested in writing. He planned originally 3 Mistborn eras. One is the original Mistborn trilogy. One is the 80s spy thriller, and then one as future space stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also Mistborn Era 4, now it's Mistborn Era 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Era 4 is supposed to be like the end of the entire Cosmere, so it's going to be a Brandon Sanderson avalanche of the entire Cosmere.
That is insane.
Like,
oh
he writes all these books, like, if you only read Stormlight Archive, you should be fine. If you only read Mistborn, even if you only read Era 2, you should be fine. But with Mistborn Era 4, he's like, no, this is the one where if you haven't kept up, you're going to be completely lost.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he said he is interested in writing a Mistborn cyberpunk, which if he does, it might end up being ballooning into another era on its own.
That would be insane.
Which
oh my goodness.
I'm all for because I love Mistborn.
Yeah, same. I'd be down. I love sci-fi stuff, so that's like right up my wheelhouse.
I'm not the biggest fan of sci-fi books, so but I trust Brandon.
Yeah.
Like my favorite sci-fi is Star Wars.
Yeah.
The least sci-fi of all sci-fi.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily the least sci-fi, but the most fantasy of all sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
that's a good description.
I mean, to be fair, my second favorite is Zero Escape, which is as hard as it comes, and then actually pretty recently, relatively recently, 13 Sentinels would probably be up there as well in that really hard sci-fi as one of my favorites. And then after that would be Mass Effect, which is just full on space opera.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally, I'm much more of a fantasy fan than I am a sci-fi fan.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, that covers what I've read. I'm loving Alloy of Law. Can't wait to read the next two. Can't wait for that fourth one to come out so we can see the conclusion.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off, Mitchell. Continue.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even remember where I was. I beat Tales of Fantasia.
Yes,
I started on Tales of Eternia.
Yes.
Which was called Tales of Destiny 2 here in the West. But here's the problem, though. There's a Tales of Destiny 2 in Japan that is not the same as Tales of Eternia / Destiny 2 here in America.
What was Tales of Destiny 1?
Here's Tales of Fantasia, then Tales of Destiny, which got released here in Japan and here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got Tales of Destiny 2, which was Japan only.
Uh-huh.
And then they released Tales of Eternia in Japan. And that got also ported to America, but they called it Tales of Destiny 2.
Oh, jeez, this is a freaking Final Fantasy situation.
Yeah.
It's even more confusing.
Yeah. So it's great trying to find walkthroughs and guides because I'm like, Tales of Destiny 2. And I'm like, this is not the game I'm playing, though. What's going on here? Oh, okay, let's try Tales of Eternia.
Great. Awesome. I love it when they give us yet another Final Fantasy situation.
Yeah. They fixed the thing where the game doesn't pause when people cast spells, though.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's like, oh, thank God, the spells are going, and I can still just fight. Oh, this is fantastic.
Awesome.
It's great. They did remove, like, the little skits that they do. Because when you're in the overworld, you can hit, like, start, and, like, the character portraits will pop up, and they'll do, like, a short little skit. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, here's what we're doing next, and sometimes they'll just do, like, a little character interaction. And it's sometimes cute.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's stupid, but
well,
I appreciate the effort.
It is an old RPG.
Yes. But they cut those out in the American release. So I'm like, dang it. I kind of like those. They were charming in their own little way.
Nice.
They cut out like one of the staples of the Tales series.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty much. And I'm like, man. Oh well, someone's bound to have uploaded it on YouTube.
Yeah, somewhere.
Or
you can find like one of those old text Let's Plays.
Yeah.
Dude, I found one for frickin' Fate Stay Night. Like the original Fate Stay Night.
Yep.
And I was like, Let me go to the one of those scenes and see the read the reactions. Oh yeah, it's just as hilarious as I thought. Boy, those scenes are written horribly. Just the worst. I cannot believe how poorly the sex scenes in Fate Stay Night are written.
Mm-hmm. I like how there's basically a mod that cuts them all out.
Yes. Because they're just like it's not
it's like Fate Stay Night is the one porn game where everyone legitimately stayed for the plot.
Yes.
And didn't give a crap.
Yes, because
about the tits.
Because you're reading it and you like, even if you're going in for that reason, you can't get there because it's so hilariously bad.
I had no idea there were sex scenes in that game. I was completely and utterly unaware.
It is a visual novel. An adult visual novel. Like, it's an adult visual novel, and that's how they made their money back then. But here's the thing: those scenes are written by a completely different writer than the main game.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, there are.
So he was like, "No, I legitimately have a good story to tell, but if this is how it sells, then fine." I will dirty my hands.
There are sex scenes written by him, but they're very short. They're much more tasteful. Like there's one in a caster flashback in Unlimited Blade Works that was written by him, and it's not explicit at all, and it's just there to build character. and then there's those scenes in Heaven's Feel, the ones about Sakura and Shinji's relationship.
I haven't played. I don't know anything about Heaven's Feel.
You hate Shinji, right?
Yeah, I hate Shinji.
You hate him even more.
Okay.
And
I mean, I remember who Sakura is, so I'm gonna
yes.
assume things.
Yes. So
I know what Shinji is like as a human being.
Yes.
Which is despicable.
Yes.
And...
Yes. And so those, like, there are scenes that reference. They're not even sex scenes. They're just scenes referencing it. And unfortunately, the mod that cuts out the awful sex scenes also tones those down and recontextualizes a lot of them. So the mod that the people recommend, the Fate community recommends and tries to get you to use, allows you to just switch on the fly. So what you do is you either for Heaven's Feel you just leave them on, or you switch them on for the run, and then you get to this day, switch them off, and then switch them back on, and then for this day switch them off, and then switch them back on, and then for this day switch them off, because frickin' Heaven's Feel has 3. It has the most awful sex scenes of any of the routes. Oh jeez.
So you're telling me I need to play for the sex scene?
Yes. if you're looking for some comedy, some quality comedy, like I did read that, like I skipped it in my main playthrough, in my actual playthrough of the game, but then I went back and I actually did read the first sex scene in Fate Stay Night, and it is comedy gold.
Oh boy.
It is hilarious. It is so bad. And it's just like the most contrived, like actual like porn movie contrived reason to have a sex scene. Just like, what? Oh no, Saber's been weakened. She's running out of magic. What do we do? Well, did you know, Shinji, that, or not Shinji, did you know, Shiro? Did you know, Shiro, that wizard sperm is highly potent in magic?
That is straight up out of a porn game.
Yes!
Oh my god. That is like, oh my god.
Good news, there is a solution.
There is a solution. Oh no, you can't you both have to be into it. Otherwise it doesn't work. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It is freaking hilarious though. If when read in the right tone, which is not the tone of the entire visual novel, it's hilarious.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Anyway, as you were saying, Mitchell.
I don't even remember. Where was I? Tales of Eternia.
Yes.
Interesting game. I don't see how far I get in that. The main character is very lazy. He does not want to be the main character at all.
Awesome. I love it. Is it like that Pro ZD skit?
Yeah, basically.
Yes, awesome.
Where like the alien girl falls into the forest where he lives, and he's like, "Ah, man, I don't want to go on a life-changing adventure.
I don't want to be the protagonist, please.
I don't want to." The best friend wants to be the protagonist and drags him along, and every step of the way he's like, "All right, how can I ditch these idiots and go home?"
That's great.
It's great. Other than that, let's see. I went camping recently.
Hey.
Just go camping, and I read a Brandon Sanderson book. Not any of the Cosmere stuff though.
Oh, what'd you read?
Here, I got my cousin to just download all of her Brandon Sanderson books.
Uh-huh.
So I just have them now, and I have like some extra stuff. Like he wrote a youth novel,
yes,
youth series.
He's written
called
a few.
This one is called Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarian.
Yeah!
And I saw that title in my Kindle, and I'm like, I gotta see what this madness is about.
How is it? Because it's like for young readers.
It's
young
definitely
readers
for young readers.
Yeah.
It is bizarre.
Well, it is called Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians.
It is a trip. is like librarians are evil for one.
Yes.
And there are these people who use special magic glasses to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
And so each glasses have a slightly different color, and they do different things. And it's this really weird magic system. I'm like, well, this is definitely Brandon Sanderson.
This is very Brandon Sanderson.
The magic glasses do different things. This glass allows you to see footprints. This glasses allow you to see different magical auras. This glass allows you to shoot laser beams out of your eyes.
Beautiful.
That is very Brandon Sanderson.
This one translates mystical ancient dead languages.
It's Brandon Sanderson. It literally feels like Brandon Sanderson, but for kids.
It is Brandon Sanderson, and he did write it for kids.
Yes. Man, that sounds like it would make an amazing like animated show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I go with that. That sounds like a good one.
I was wondering if you would if you were gonna come in here and say you'd read Rhythmatist or Skyward.
Nah, not
Nope.
yet. No, I just went camping on something quick to read for the evening. I'm like, nope, that one caught my eye.
There you go.
Ugh, that's a trip. But I think that's about it for me.
All right.
All right.
Well,
You, Sir Zachary.
Me. Well, it looks like I'll be the only one doing the full thing, but thankfully I do have a bunch of stuff. So Christmas happened.
Woo!
Yes, Christmas.
Big thing is I got a shelf, a big old set of shelves that I put in my room. I've taken out my desk, which Mitchell has probably wondered about.
Yeah, I just didn't bother to ask.
Yeah, so we're gonna give away my old desk because I never use it. So I'll just now I have a bunch of shelves that I don't have enough to fill in, but I'll probably take some stuff out of other shelves around the house and put them in there. So that was the biggest thing I got. I'm trying to think if there was anything else of note.
Oh, I got a bearded dragon holder.
Oh boy.
I got like this little harness you strap around your shoulder and you put the bearded dragon in and you can carry him. It's like one of those little baby carriers but for a bearded dragon. It's so stupid. I love it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I got a briarwood long stem pipe. When I say occasionally, I mean once every couple of months. I occasionally like to smoke a pipe. It's a very involved process that I picked up because I was in a nonfiction creative writing class. And the last project was do something that you wouldn't normally do and write about it. And so I was like, I don't even remember what brought the idea into my head, but I was like, let me do some research into smoking a pipe. Like I think one of the suggestions he had was like a guy like smoked a cigarette for the first time. And I was like, I don't want to smoke a cigarette because cigarettes smell like trash.
Yeah.
And those are just cancer crap. Let me see if there's any difference between smoking a cigarette, smoking a cigar, and smoking a pipe. And it turns out there is. Cigarettes are the only things that give you lung cancer because that's the only one that you actually inhale the smoke in. With pipes, cigars, and obviously dip and chew, it just stays in the mouth. So if you smoke too heavily, you'll get throat cancer or mouth cancer or lip cancer. But like pipe smoke, it's only like mouth or throat cancer because it's not even lip cancer because it's not even going on your lips. But I remember like I looked up like the stats from the original Surgeon General's report that was like finally the Surgeon General is saying that cigarettes are bad for you, and it was like a really comprehensive study and everything. And they rated everything on like a mortality rating. So like 1 is your regular person who does not smoke has 1 chance of dying of anything, like just mortality in general.
Yep.
If you smoke, a heavy cigarette smoker has like a 5 mortality rating, so they're 5 times as likely to die of anything, be it lung cancer, throat cancer, whatever it is. And And then like cigars are significantly lower than cigarettes, but still across the board higher than non-smokers. Same with people who do dip and chew. And then pipe smokers, it's a little higher than non-smokers until you get to people who smoke like 1 or 2 bowls a week. And those people have a lower mortality rating than non-smokers. And I don't know how, and there's never been any studies into that, or at least none that aren't completely biased one way or the other.
I wonder if that might just be a sample size thing.
Might
Because
be
how
a
many
sample
people
size.
still do pipes these
That's
days?
fair. That's fair.
So I'm wondering that could be a sample size.
It could be,
bias.
but this was done in like the 70s, so there were
True.
more people who smoked pipes back then.
True.
So-
I don't know. That is weird, though.
It's weird and
That is
interesting, and pipe smoking is a thing that's been done for like for millennia.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that people did to smoke, and it's a very involved process because you have to keep it warm but not too hot. And so when I wrote that paper, I just got a corncob pipe off of Amazon. And I went to a local tobacco store and bought some low nicotine tobacco because I did a bunch of research into that, and I was like, yeah, I don't want really heavy nicotine stuff because apparently if you do that, you can like throw up if you go too heavy too soon. And I did smoke, like at one point I smoked a cigar that was really heavy nicotine, and I almost threw up. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Then I was like, after smoking that a couple of times, like a year or 2 later, I was like, you know what? I want to smoke again, but I don't want to smoke a corncob pipe. I should probably get from Amazon. I should probably get a regular pipe. And so I went to that tobacco store and I got a really nice meerschaum pipe, which is the stone they use. If you do a stone pipe, they use meerschaum as the stone. And the bowl is like a little hand holding the bowl, which is really, really neat.
That's cool.
And so I got that, and then I was like, you know what? I could not think of anything I wanted for Christmas, or for my parents to get me for Christmas. And then I was like, you know what? I don't have a wood pipe, a briar wood pipe, which is the good wood that they had. The good wood. It's the good wood that they use for pipes. And I want a long stem pipe because like Lord of the Rings is really cool, man.
You got a Gandalf pipe.
Lord of the Rings is really cool, man. It doesn't look like a Gandalf pipe. It's not one piece. The stem comes off, which is what they do with just modern pipes because it's a lot easier to clean.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the stem isn't quite as long, and it's not curved. It's straight, and the bowl looks really cool. It looks like almost like a piece of coal.
Huh.
Where it's kind of rough on the top and not quite even, not quite flat or either. So that was cool. I smoked it once and I had a decent time, but it was a son of a gun to keep it lit because it was real windy. So eventually I ran out of matches in the giant box of matches I used, and I just gave up and just poured the rest out. But that was fun. Only other Christmas gift of note wasn't even mine, and it's not so much the gift itself, but it's the story behind it. So my brother, for his one-act play and in school, they finally did a Holocaust play, which is the ones that win all the awards a lot of times they're the ones that win all the awards at competition. And so they finally did one. It was called The Ninth Train, and it's like about I forget the country, might have been France or something, but it's like right before the big crackdown, or it might have been Germany. I can't remember. Somewhere early on, and it was right before the big crackdown, and there were trains that were taking child Jews out of the country. Then the ninth train was going to be the last one, and that's the whole story of this family, and they're trying to figure out, should we send our kids or should we stick together? Because if we send our kids off, we'll probably never see them again.
Yeah.
And so, my grandma every year gets us a Christmas ornament as one of the gifts for Christmas. And so and she usually goes with a theme. Every year for the past 13 years, I've gotten a guitar, Even though I don't play guitar, she started getting me those when I started playing bass guitar. And I started getting a bunch of gifts that were like, hey, this is a shirt with a guitar on it. This is a calendar with guitars on it. There's some socks with guitars on it. I think she thinks I play guitar.
Oh.
Which is charming and lovely, and she's wonderful, but it is very funny. But instead of going with the theme that she usually goes with for my brother, I think he had been getting like Harry Potter ornaments, and he'd gotten like up to book 3. Instead, she decided to get him an ornament that was about his that related to his play. So it was an ornament that he got the ornament, and it said Ninth Train on there.
Oh.
And the story is she couldn't remember the name of the play when she ordered it. So she had them just put Holocaust on there.
Oh.
Just an ornament with the word Holocaust on it. And then she thought to call my mom and ask what the name was, and she got it changed, thankfully, before they sent it.
All aboard the Holocaust train. Choo choo.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That would have I honestly wish she hadn't caught that, because that would have been the funniest ornament. But it also would have been
friends or family.
It also would have been
Christmas.
hard to explain to friends or family.
It's like, hey, come over here and explain something to me real quick.
Hold on. What is this?
What's
and
this?
and me being me, I would have since I decorate the tree, me being me, I probably would have ended up putting it front and center. Because I think
make sure that people ask questions.
I think that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of humor is hilarious. Like not necessarily Holocaust humor, but just that kind of the kind of like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. But
yeah,
those are the main things from Christmas.
The ones that make you go, hold up.
Hold on.
Like
Wait.
Life of Brian.
Yes.
That one scene where the mother is talking to the centurion and it just cuts to her like kneeling down.
Oh my
For
gosh.
a half a second.
Oh my
cuts
gosh.
away. And you go, hold up.
Wait.
Did I actually see that? It's like, well, where were we? Cuts.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
hold up.
That scene was the realest it's ever been. Oh my gosh. What a great movie.
Ugh.
Anyway, moving on from Christmas, I finished up the term for the last term for those classes in my masters,
Ah.
and I got Oles again.
Woo!
hey.
So, like,
So
do you got more, or like, are you?
I'm on track. I'm signed up for all my classes
Okay.
up to graduation, and with that I should be graduating in August,
Woo.
Nice.
which this has flown by, which I'm very happy for.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy it, but I'm also glad to be. I will also be glad to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, what's the college that you go to?
I'm doing it online through Southern New Hampshire.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, their advertisements make them look like a University of Phoenix kind of situation, but they're an actual university. They just have a really good online program that they advertise a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual accredited university, not like a University of Phoenix.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And plus, they have a more robust online system, unlike just about any other accredited university.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I would have loved to do this online at UNT through my alma mater, but they didn't offer it, and I'm not going to drive up to Denton to do this. But my fiction fundamentals class was a blast. Just that was a real confidence booster for me, because my professor just had almost nothing but praise for what I turned in, which you have people you're related to or friends with telling you, hey, you're a really good writer, and it's like, yeah, thanks, and you think to yourself, but am I though?
No. Have an unbiased source.
Having an unbiased source who is paid to tell you, no, this part needs work, just saying like, this is fantastic, that really does cement like, okay, no, they're right. Okay,
Yeah. Congrats.
It's good to know. There's still room to improve. Always room to improve. But we're on the right track. That feels great. And then I was worried about my British literature paper, but it ended up turning out really well. I managed to pull it all together, and I got an A on the paper and in the class.
Nice.
So far, I've gotten all A's in my classes, which I hope to keep going through the rest of the degree. I'm really excited for the next classes, which actually start up tomorrow at the time of recording. It's it's a Shakespeare class, which I freaking love Shakespeare, so I'm always down for that. And it's a genre writing class, sci-fi and fantasy, which is exactly what I want. I write fantasy, and I absolutely love writing fantasy. So I'm glad to have a class that focuses in on it. So that'll be a lot of fun. I haven't read a ton. Ironically, I read a little bit more of reflections of C.S. Lewis reflections on the Psalms. Not much to say. It continues to be very, very good. I might have more to say when I eventually finish it. That's about it, honestly, for reading. Actually, I have read a manga that I found, and I can't remember the name of it because it was some Japanese name that I don't remember. But it's this cute little romance that takes place in 1920s Japan. And the characters are very young, but it's this boy who like he comes from this very wealthy family with a very strict and demanding father, of course, and then he's in a wreck with his mom, and his mom dies in the wreck, and he loses all like function in his right arm, like almost all function in his right arm, and so he's basically sent off to a distant family estate to not be an embarrassment, but his dad buys this girl from a less wealthy family to be his wife, which like, you know, it does address like that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But it's a surprisingly really, really sweet and heartwarming story that at one point had me like going, like I was reading it at night, and then this story plot point happens that is an actual historical event that happened in Japan in the 1920s, and I'm like, I can't stop reading now. I got to keep reading. And I read like a whole other volume before I went to bed because it's like I can't stop here. You can't do this to me. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I can't. I ran across like some random clip from the anime adaptation on YouTube because YouTube recommendations happen, and then I was like, you know, do I even want to bother like tracking down the anime? Nah, it's easier on my phone to just find the manga, so I did.
Yeah.
So I've also, now that's about it for what I've read, but for what I've watched, I have caught up on Campaign 3 of Critical Role.
Hey, nice. I'm going to start listening soon. I really want to get into it because I haven't listened to any of it yet. But my friends are just like, it's so good. You need to start.
I don't have the time.
Yeah. Now's the time to get in on it while Campaign 3 is pretty early, relatively early.
Yeah.
And then when you catch up, if you have the time and the desire, you can go back and start Campaign 2, and then be like me and be like 80 episodes in, and 80 episodes in and realize, oh, I'm a little more than halfway.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially because they have a talk show, like an after show that they do for every episode. They're not doing it for Campaign 3 because the guy who hosted it left the company.
Oh wow!
Like he left on friendly terms from everything I've seen, but he just moved on from the Critical Role company.
Okay.
Yeah, because I assume he's on friendly terms because he's engaged or married to one of the cast members.
You would hope so.
So, and as far as I'm aware, it was on friendly terms. Like early on in Campaign 1, there was someone who was with them from their home game who left, and it was on like kind of shaky terms. They, as far as I'm aware, they don't really talk anymore. But it was like mutual. It wasn't like they kicked him off. It was just like mutual. We need to part ways.
Working between us.
Yeah, but
we're like
yeah,
oil and water.
Yes, if you want to be all poetic like that. But from what I understand, this was more just a friendly like, yeah, I'm moving on to other things. But in campaign 2, the after show is there all the way through, and so I'm listening to that after every episode, which means that that adds hours onto the time. But it is a lot of fun to hear them talk about their characters, especially since it's D&D. So it's the viewer questions help them to dig into the motivations behind their characters and everything. So it's a lot of fun, and sometimes you get answers of I'm not gonna say because that's spoilers.
Yeah, fair.
So it's very fun. The campaign 3 is fantastic. It's got a much more smooth start than campaign 2, because like campaign 1 is a rough start because they're getting used to being in front of a live audience and doing it every week.
Oh, they're doing a live audience?
Yeah. Well, not always like a live in studio audience, but streaming it.
Okay.
And then campaign 2 has a bit of a rough start, a shaky first episode really, because they've been playing campaign 1 characters for literal years, and then all of a sudden they have all new characters. And so they're kind of like trying to figure out, should I do this? I mean, this is a little awkward. And then Laura Bailey comes in with her character and just starts talking in the voice and being completely in character. And then they all get going. Because Laura Bailey is fantastic.
Yep.
She's awesome.
She's a natural at D&D. Apparently for her first session playing, she was already just immediately in character doing everything like that. So she's just a natural at it.
Yeah.
So campaign 3, but at this point they've figured that out, that so there's no real bad transition period or anything. The characters are already there. They do have a guest on there who's still there 8 episodes in, and he's fantastic. So it's a lot of fun, and I will be sad to potentially see him go. I'm pretty sure he's going to go at some point because they finally have their actual opening. And he's obviously a guest in the opening, so
yeah.
Unfortunately, but I will enjoy him while he's here because he's a lot of fun. Other things I watched, this video was recommended to me on YouTube. It's basically a documentary. It's like a full hour 45-minute long video by the channel Defunct Land. Detailing the history of Disney's Fast Pass system.
Oh, yeah, they have some interesting things.
Yes, I saw that. I have a video open right now, and in the recommended, it is at the very top of the recommended videos.
It is fantastic. One of the best long videos I've seen in a while on YouTube. It's I've only been to Disney World once, so this also helped me to see how have things changed since I went to Disney World? Oh, this is a bit of a nightmare scenario.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And there's a part in the video where there's this whole thing where I'm just gonna say Shapeland is the best part of the video. Shapeland, yes. But there is one thing that Shapeland is the part that gets everyone. The part that got me the most and actually had me pausing the video was something that, to anyone who's been to Disney World in recent years, is not a surprise at all. But I found out their new Fast Pass system, Fast Pass-ish system, is called Genie. And I frickin' paused the video and put my head in my hands because, oh dear Lord, this is exactly what Robin Williams got mad at them over. This is the exact kind of thing that Robin Williams had a falling out with Disney over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just using his character just as a big old marketing thing, and I just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's lousy.
Once again, Robin Williams rolling over in his grave. But it seems like they've come to it's the whole system is rough. It's a rough system, and when I went, I was fortunate enough to go there when the Fast Pass system was not the monstrosity it became.
Yeah.
Man.
I need to watch that video.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then I watched a couple other of his videos, like the one about the roller coaster that crushes people's balls.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not good at all.
Not good at all. It's the same kind of roller. If you've been to Six Flags, the Joker ride.
Okay.
It's
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh,
that
man.
it's that kind of roller coaster, but it was like
But worse.
It started off fine. Then they made an adjustment to it that shifted the weight, and some people came off the ride saying it crushed my balls.
Oh, that's not good. I think I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Six Flags, I did go a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, how is it?
It's Six Flags. It's fun.
It is Six Flags.
They had like the little tilted house attraction open for once.
Oh, I don't think I've been on that.
It's just like an optical illusion.
Yes, well,
It's like, oh, it's built on a huge slant, so we can make things appear to roll uphill. That's the gimmick.
that's fun.
Yeah, it's real fun for kids.
Yeah.
Does not hold its attraction anymore.
Well, no, of course not. But you know,
But it's closed so often that it's like, oh, it's actually open today.
Yeah.
We might as well go.
you go there, and as an adult, you're like, oh, that's rolling uphill. It's not supposed to do that.
Oh, that's so quaint.
Uh,
And then you watch the kids lose their mind.
yeah.
You
That's
hope
the
you,
fun
that
part.
you,
They
you,
go,
you hope you get some little kids in your group that just go, oh, what?
That's the
And you're
fun
just
part.
like, heh, heh, heh.
I understand how this works, and you don't.
But yeah, Six Flags is still fun.
Yeah, Six Flags is great.
Yeah, let's see. Did the Batman one.
Oh yeah, Batman's fun.
Batman's great. We did the Texas Giant. That thing is
Yes.
long.
That thing's long and fun.
It just doesn't feel like it ever ends.
No, but it's great.
Oh,
The new, well, I don't think I ever rode on the old one, but I have ridden on the new one.
yeah, the new one. It's just
New one's great. I love it.
feels like a.
Yes.
Uh,
Have you been on the Judge Roy Scream recently?
not recently. It was close when we were there.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That was my favorite one as a kid because
Yeah.
there was a time when my dad, for some reason, one year back when we lived around Arlington, my dad for some reason had season tickets, and we went to a baseball game, and the park is right by Six Flags,
Yep.
and we got out of the game, and my dad was like, "Let's just go to Six Flags. They're still open. Let's go.
go."
And we went and we rode the Judge Roy Scream over and over and over, just like because there was no line, and we just rode it over and over, just tons.
It's a good one.
And it was so much fun. And then I go back to it, and it's like, wow, this is really uncomfortable. This is really old.
Yeah, it's really old.
It
So
kind of
good.
hurts to ride.
It does, but that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
The other one that really hurts is the snake one.
the
Terra.
Sidewinder.
Like
the one that's
in
like
this like
the
the
toboggan
Mexican,
one.
the toboggan thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know that I ever actually. I might have ridden that once.
that's a good way to get whiplash. Just slide down, then he has to like autocorrect you to the next thing, so it just clang, 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 clang. Oh,
Yep. Oh boy.
it has to like shoot you into the next area,
Yeah.
so it's just clang, 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 and it's a good way to get whiplash.
It's like one of those water coasters, except worse.
Except there's no water.
Yeah, except there's no water.
It's a water coaster, but there's no water, so
Oh.
I love it regardless.
Yeah. There's
It's a
those,
classic.
There's those ones that it's like, this is kind of bad, but I still like it.
It's bad, but nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
It's a classic.
Nostalgia takes it a long way.
Oh boy.
The only other thing I watched was Arcane, which we talked about in the Lost Time.
In the Lost.
Yes.
Fantastic. Only minor complaint I have is I didn't particularly care for either of the romances, but other than that, it's freaking phenomenal. And the music choices were sometimes a little odd. That's the only other nitpick. But other than that, freaking phenomenal. So, and like everyone says, watch Arcane. Don't play League of Legends.
Yes.
I didn't take their advice.
Oh no.
Best takeaway.
I did not take their
Oh
advice.
no.
You didn't.
Oh no.
I did not because I like MOBA gameplay. I played Heroes of the Storm for a long time. My friend got me to play it, and I loved it. And I especially loved playing Johanna, the Crusader from Diablo. character, and I freaking love playing that character. And I've never been able to find something that I like as much as playing that character. But I like the base gameplay of MOBAs anyway. And Heroes of the Storm is basically dead. So my option is League. Because Dota 2 is...
Wait, what about the Pokemon thing?
No. No.
But what about the Pokemon thing?
Pokemon Unite, no.
Oh, but why
I
though?
had no idea they made a Pokemon MOBA.
Yes,
What the
they
heck?
did.
What?
They did.
I've never heard of this.
Yes, they did. Pokemon Unite. Oh boy, it's a game.
It's a game.
It's a game. It's also like one of the worst free-to-play models out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh boy. But yeah, I played some League of Legends and I had a good time because I'm still
Cancerous growth.
I'm still early enough to where I don't really have to deal with a lot of the cancer because I can't play ranked.
Yes.
So a lot of my games were either we get completely stomped or we completely stomp them.
Yeah.
My favorite characters to play, Lux is fun. Leona is about as close as I can find so far to Johanna, so I like her for that. It's still very different and not the same. I can't. Nothing is ever the same, and it sucks. But then I did find. I forget the character's name, but she's a newer character. She's like a pop singer, but she's a support class.
KDA.
Nah, she's
It's part of KDA.
She's part of KDA.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she's got like pink hair, and I really enjoy her gameplay. I actually like playing support in this game, mainly because I don't have to deal with last hitting, which was never a thing you had to do in Heroes of the Storm, and I hate last hitting.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre mechanic that I don't like. Like I can do it, but I don't like it, and that character's a lot. But that character's a lot of fun. She's the one I played the most in my time. This time I haven't played in a couple weeks, and I don't know if I'm gonna go back anytime soon. I got my MOBA fix, and that's all I cared about.
Yeah, fair.
I spent a little bit of money on a skin for Leona because it was a cool looking skin, and that's it.
Okay.
I put in some time and I got out. I think I am safe from the MOBA cancer, at least for the time being.
It's for the time being. It's gonna take a little while longer.
Yeah. Well, you know, they came out. I tried playing Legends of Runeterra to get the fix, but it's to get the fix because it's also League of Legends, but it's the card game. But I just like the MOBA gameplay. I like that style of gameplay. Unfortunately. Speaking of games I dipped my toes back into Final Fantasy XIV.
Hey, how long does it take to log in?
It was actually reasonable. Like very little difference between what it was when I played a ton of it.
All right.
I dipped my toes into just make sure that my access code for Endwalker didn't run out, and then I used the Fantasia I got from the end for beating a Realm Reborn and made my character into a male Viera.
Woo!
So I'm going with that for the rest of the time. I am no longer basic human.
I was male Vieira before it was cool. Before it was possible, kind of.
Before it was possible. Yeah. You were frickin' your Catboy with the bunny ear outfit.
That's fantastic. That's going to be my rating outfit for all of eternity. I will keep glamoring that onto everything.
Man, you could frickin' do that and have a male Viera and have 4 ears.
Ooh, boy.
I wonder if that's allowed. I don't know if it's allowed, but that'd be hilarious. I do know they had to change male Viera's models because they were before release they were slouching a lot more, but they ended up clipping through almost every armor set. So they had to just make the posture more upright. I like the way my character looks. It's going to take a little bit to get used to, but because I haven't played it in a while, it's a lot easier to get used to it. So I'll put some more time into it at some point. I will continue on through Heaven's Ward, which is amazing.
Yep.
But this long break also helped me to get over like a lot of the voice acting changes because between Realm Reborn and Heavensward that completely changed voice actors for the entire cast.
Yeah, that's right.
Which sucks because I really liked Sam Riegel as Alphino. And Sam Riegel has a very distinct voice that I recognize because I listen to a lot of Critical Role.
Yep. I'm still waiting to get back into the Old Republic. I'm waiting for the big thing to drop. I think they're going to do it in February.
Nice.
I think they're going to change out the class system a lot, so I want to see what that does.
Is it going to be kind of like a relaunch of the game almost?
They're not relaunching it.
Not a relaunch, but like, hey guys, this is a chance to get back and revamp. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're kind of trying to do that.
Nice.
They're like, we're rechanging the class system, so you have more options, and you're not locked into like one specific story. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work until they drop it. But they're going to be expanding on the new Sith storyline. Hopefully the Mandalorian Civil War thing. Because they were kind of building that up. And I hope it's evenly split.
Yeah.
Because that was the big complaint about like the Fallen Empire and whatnot, was that it was super Force user focused.
Yeah.
So I'd really love a non-Force Mandalorian Civil War thing.
Yeah, so you don't get Han Solo, the Immortal Emperor.
Yes. I think a lot of people would be really happy.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. I hope it's good.
If you want a story that balances a lot of stuff, that balances two pretty different kinds of stories pretty well, Heavensward seems to be doing that with, like, the dragons are a big problem, but also there's a lot of political stuff going on.
Nice.
So this is just the very beginning of the games I played, because I played a ton of games. I beat Symphony of the Night.
Woo!
Nice.
Fantastic game. Get all the way through the Upside Down Dracula's Castle. What a great game. The release that you get now is they change all the voice acting and the script too. So unfortunately, you don't get "What is a man? Nothing but a miserable little pile of secrets, but enough talk have at you." You unfortunately don't get that.
Dang,
It's changed slightly.
You steal men's souls.
Oh boy, what a fun old dub that was. Now it's updated with better voice acting, yes, and a better script. But the old one has that old charm of it being kind of bad. But yeah, fantastic game, lot of fun. I will probably go back and play that again sometime because that's just a lot of fun to play. But after I beat Symphony of the Night, I played the unofficial sequel to Symphony of the Night, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
There you go.
Bloodstained is fantastic. It is just the spirit of Castlevania has been preserved in Bloodstained. It is basically a sequel to Symphony of the Night in terms of mechanics.
Nice.
They take mechanics from a lot of the other Igavania games where the enemies have like souls that you absorb, and those give you extra attacks that you can use. So if you want to go to a specific one, you have to farm enemies. But I haven't had to farm any enemies recently, so I've been able to get most of them like pretty easily. So that's nice. There might be some later on in the game that are more harder to get, but yeah, I do really like. I really like Metroidvanias, so this is a really good Metroidvania. So I'm a decent ways into the game. I think it feels like I'm a decent ways into the game. There were a couple points where I just kept dying over and over, but I've not had too much trouble. So that's that. I looked at my hard drive space and I was like, man, I don't have a lot of space on this thing. As evidenced by this, what happened to this recording.
Earlier incident.
But I decided, you know what? Let me just finish up some games and free up some hard drive space. So one of the biggest things that had been sitting on my hard drive for a long time was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Hey.
And I had remembered, I'm pretty close to beating this game, aren't I? And yeah, I was pretty close to beating the game. So I popped back in and I finished that game off. That is a fantastic game, just very unique, easily Ninja Theory's best game.
Yeah, I agree. Hard agree.
I wouldn't say it's their best combat system. I'd say their best combat system is actually DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
for all the problems that game has. The definitive edition fixes some of those problems. So, but yeah, that combat system is better, but the combat system of Hellblade is what it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that last, I got good enough at it that last fight lasted a long time.
Yeah, same here for me. Like, I was just like, dang, I can just keep going at this forever.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
I figured out the gimmick part ways in, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep going because I was invested in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Fantastic story, fantastically well told, and yes, definitely play that game with headphones.
Oh, definitely.
Like, you're missing out if you don't play the game with headphones. So I was able to delete that off my hard drive, and then for some reason I decided, you know what? Let me now that I'm beating a couple games, let me find a really short game on my list. It wasn't on my hard drive, but I downloaded it and beat it the same day, and then deleted it. I played and beat Limbo.
Hey, Limbo's great.
For the first time ever. That is a very charming game that was like really big like early on in the indie boom. And if it came out today, it'd be nothing special.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Which is unfortunate because it was a very good game. It's just that I feel like this game, along with games like VVVV or I think it's 6Vs in the title, it's got they've got decent gimmicks, and they're short games that are just fun, but there's nothing all that special about them outside of art style.
Yeah.
So I do need to play Inside, and I've heard Inside is freaking amazing. So
it is astounding.
So that's on the list, and I've heard it's about as long as Limbo. So hey, that should be easy. But work's going to be starting back up again soon, so my time will be somewhat limited. We will see. Another game that was sitting on my hard drive that I polished off was Ori and the Blind Forest.
Hey, there you go.
I say polished off, but I went to my old file and had no idea where I was, so I just said, screw it, I'm just going to start over. And I started over. And I beat it. And I caught back up to where I was in my old file faster than in my old file. I passed up where I was in my old file in less time than I had on my old file. My old file had like 4 hours on it, and I beat the game in like 6. So I think the experience of playing like Symphony of the Night and Bloodstained really did help, because it is a Metroidvania. Although I would, and all the Metroid games I played recently, I would say it's more on the Metroid side of Metroidvania, because it's more about getting abilities than it is about loot and equipment. So I'd say I'd consider it more a Metroid than a Metroidvania, but it's a ton of fun, beautiful, gorgeous game. Absolutely gorgeous in the visuals. And I'll have to play Ori and the Will of the Wisps at some point, because I really enjoyed my time with it. Like that's one of those games that if someone had never played a video game or didn't know much about video games, I'd show that to them just for the art.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Cookie Clicker has continued.
Oh dear.
I have not touched it for a few days because I got what's called a shiny wrinkler, and the way wrinklers work is they sap your cookies, but then when you click them, they explode into 1.1 times the amount of cookies that they sapped. Shiny wrinklers are extremely rare. For the months I've played it, I've gotten this one, and they explode into 3.3 times the amount of cookies that they've sapped.
Dang.
So I've just been letting that one go for a while, so it'll be real big explosion. But I have basically gotten, like, kind of essentially beaten the game outside of getting all the achievements, because I got all of the prestige rewards except for the ones that require you to stop on like 5 digits 7 in your prestige number, because that becomes impossible as the game goes on, because you just get hundreds of thousands of points every second.
Yeah.
So the only way to get those is actually to just cheat. So I might have to do that at some point. And then I'm just going to kind of let that go and occasionally pop in and do stuff in it. because it is a very satisfying game to get the endorphins going.
Yep. Number go up.
Number go up.
Number do go up.
It does go up. It do go up. I popped into Team Fortress 2 for a bit because the Smithmas update was going, event was going. I think it's still going. I'm not sure. And it's Team Fortress 2 is Team Fortress 2. They did, there's more bots. And now for Smithmas, there were festive bots that played freaking Christmas music over the voice chat, which was less annoying than some of the stuff that other bots have played, but I still hate them because I'll be doing pretty good, and all of a sudden, I got sniped from literally across the map through a tiny viewpoint.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I hate the bots so much, and I wish Valve would do more about this game. You know, this when I said I wanted more man versus machine, this is not what I had in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, game's great. They actually came out with some significant updates. They fixed the Rap Assassin finally.
Wait, they actually updated TF2?
Yes.
They still do that?
Yes. There's no new content aside from like event stuff, like the new community made content. But they did update the Rap Assassin, which is a scout melee weapon that it's a piece of wrapping paper and a little ball ornament, and you hit it, and if it hits someone, it explodes. It explodes into, I think even if it hits the ground, it explodes and causes bleed. Or I think only if it hits someone, it explodes and causes bleed, and it has a little area of effect. But it had this problem on a bunch of maps where when you hit it, it hits some invisible wall somewhere and immediately explodes in your face, which does hurt you, I believe. And it's just been broken for years. And they fixed it fairly recently. But there's one very popular map, Bad Water, and on the last point, the whole area is just one big giant invisible box that the Rap Assassin cannot work in. And they finally fixed it.
Woo.
They frickin' did it. And I don't know what in the source spaghetti they had to untangle to get it to work, but they finally did it.
My God.
It's Smithmas came for everyone. So yeah, that was just a quick little thing on Christmas Eve. I was like, I'm bored. Let me listen to Christmas music and play Team Fortress 2. I played like I said, I played a lot of games. I played a bit of Medieval on the PS4.
Oh yeah.
The remake on the PS4. Yeah. That is a great game that I would have absolutely loved as a kid, and I love it today too.
That's nice.
It's just a very charming, very fun game that has that good like easy completion rewards that just gets the endorphins flowing.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that dropped without like any fanfare. Like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot both got remade, and like I felt like everybody was talking about those, but like I didn't hear anything about Medieval when it first dropped.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's really, really good. I think Spyro and Crash do have they always had more star power than Medieval.
Yeah. Like
Medieval got one sequel and then a remake of the first game on the PSP and then another remake on the PS4.
Yeah.
That's all it's gotten aside from, PlayStation All-Stars. Woo! He's the worst character in PlayStation All-Stars. But yeah, it's never had the same fanfare, but the effort that they put into the game is fantastic. The voice acting is all from the original game, but except for I think they have the narrator. I think the narrator has a lot of new lines because she will read out every single entry. Like you get a little entry for you encounter this enemy. You get a little cute funny entry. You encounter this boss. You get a cute funny entry, and you can have her read all of them. And it's Olenna Tyrell from frickin' Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
And she has a fantastic voice, and she nails the tone and the comedy perfectly. It's fantastic. But all the other voice acting is from the original game, which is great because they have phenomenal delivery, and all they did was just take the raw audio and now it's high quality. It's nice when they can do that with games, unlike with Metal Gear Solid 1 where they lost all the audio files.
Oopsies.
And had to redo all the voice acting in Twin Snakes, which is much worse. And unfortunately, that's the audio they used when they do certain flashbacks in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, Medieval's great. I really like that game. And I think also Crash and Spyro had the benefit of, hey, this is 3 games in 1. Medieval's just 1 game.
Yeah, true.
But it's great. It's a fun game. And then comes my biggest time sink of the past couple weeks. I've been on a FromSoft kick. Like nothing else. So I re-downloaded, beat, and... or actually, I don't know if I re-downloaded it. It might have been sitting on my hard drive. I beat Dark Souls 3.
Nice.
Finally, after years of like just kind of getting to a point and then stopping. I had gotten to Pontiff Sullivan, and he had been kicking my butt, and I just stopped.
That reminds me, I need to get back into Code Vein.
Man, Pontiff Sullivan was freaking hard, and then when I pop in the game, I go, and he's still freaking hard, and then I beat him on my 3rd try.
Woo!
Oh, hey.
The secret was I kill the thing he does in his 2nd phase.
Yeah.
Once I shut that down, the rest of the fight was a lot easier. But yeah, that game is great. I ended up kind of breezing through the rest of the game. Like there were a couple bosses that gave me trouble. Osiris gave me trouble because Big Beast thing. He's more like a Bloodborne boss than a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah.
Nameless King took me like 5 tries to beat. Which all things considered isn't that bad.
No, that's not bad at all. That's great.
Gale again took me about like 5 tries to beat in the DLC at the end of the DLC.
Yeah.
I did beat Frida on my 1st try, but I did summon for that fight because I wanted because it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And plus like that 2nd phase is kind of bullcrap. But yeah. Other than that, I really didn't have a lot of trouble with the boss. The final boss took me 2 tries. Lothric I beat on my 1st try. Aldrich took me like 2, maybe 3 tries. Like all these bosses that people have a lot of trouble with, like I ended up not having a ton of trouble with, and I think it's because I accidentally stumbled on a pretty good build where I just pumped strength and upgraded my claymore and made it heavy so it scaled with strength really well. And then I was just doing tons of damage, and because it was a regular greatsword and not an ultra greatsword, I was still pretty quick on my feet.
Hey, nice.
So I ended up doing pretty well, and I always had a medium roll because I rarely switched my armor, and I forgot that vitality or endurance is not this. It does not increase your equip load like it does in other Souls games. So I kept pumping that, but it ended up not helping me with equip load. There was a completely different stat. I think it was vigor that affects your equip load.
Whoops.
And so when I figured that out, I was like I had almost beaten the main game. So I was like, well, I guess I'll start pumping into that so I can wear some cool armor. Yeah. So I did that. Oh, Dark Eater Midir took me a couple tries. That one gave me a lot of trouble. That one was rough. And I summoned for the demon fight in the DLC in Ring City because screw that. Screw that fight. I've seen that. I don't want to even deal with that on my own. Plus, again, story-wise, the summoning for that fight is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Dark Souls 3. I didn't get the Lord of Hollows ending. I got the End of Fire ending, and that one was I really did like that ending. That I've seen some of the other endings in the game, and that was probably my favorite. And it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. Like Dark Souls endings don't really hit me that hard, but that one hit me that hard, and that might have been for like personal reasons, like memories I have with the game and the series that just kind of hit me a little harder than I thought they would. But I won't get too personal. But that is a fantastic game. It is a shame that it's so linear compared to other Dark Souls games. But I would much rather play that than I would freaking Dark Souls 2.
There you go.
Because it's at least a fun game. Mm-hmm. And at some point I might play it again. I might try like a Dex build or something. But honestly, I wouldn't mind just going through New Game Plus and just playing it again because with my character, because I just like playing the game, and it's just the gameplay is just really good and the bosses are really well designed. I've noticed like there's a couple with Souls games. There's a couple different reasons why I play them. Demon Souls, I like for replayability at least. Demon Souls, I'll replay it because I like doing different builds. The builds are really freaking weird, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with the different builds. Dark Souls 3 and to a lesser extent Bloodborne, I'll replay just because I like the bosses. Just because I like the bosses with very very little variation in what I build. Bloodborne, I'll play again like with a different weapon. But for the most part, I'm playing because the gameplay is really good, not because I want to try out a different build. Dark Souls 1 has a really good mix between the two, where I'll play it because the bosses are great, the gameplay is great, but I also want to try a new build, and the build variety is really varied and really balanced in Dark Souls 1, unlike a lot of other games in the series, because like Dark Souls 3, magic and miracles are kind of crap, and in Demon Souls, magic is broken.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1 has a actually really good, really well balanced set for that. And speaking of which, I got a little farther in my parry everything playthrough of Dark Souls 1.
Hey.
I got all the way through Sen's Fortress, and I got to Anorlando. I died more times to Ricard, freaking that one NPC, than I did to almost anything else so far. Because that guy's rapier is really fast. And when I'm trying to parry everything, that's a pain. I've also put a little bit more time into my second playthrough of Demon Souls. Not much to say there. Magic is broken. It's a lot of fun, though. And I put a lot of time into Bloodborne.
Hey,
Once I beat Dark Souls 3, I just say, all right, let me go to Bloodborne. And I could have jumped back into my old playthrough, but I had completely forgotten where I was and what all I had done. So I just started a new file, and I went with skill weapons instead of strength weapons, because I wanted to use the burial blade, the scythe.
Oh yeah.
And I did end up getting it in one. You can set up a chalice dungeon to run and get a burial blade. Not the one you get in the main game, but it's like the only difference is like it takes different blood gems. So I just looked up online, hey, what's a code for me to get one of the burial blades? And I found one that I could get relatively early in the game. And so I did that in one of the chalice dungeons. Chalice dungeons are kind of meh.
Yeah, I never really played them whenever I played through them.
Like, I could see myself like going through and actually grinding them out just like while listening to a podcast. Because like it's kind of mindless.
Like, what is the Chalice Dungeon system? I never really understood that one.
They are randomly generated dungeons. Well, you get like one planned out dungeon, and it goes like down three levels with 3 bosses, and then you can make a randomly generated version of that dungeon with the bosses will be randomly switched around and stuff. You might get a completely different boss, things like that, and then and then you unlock a new one, and this one's harder, and it's got new bosses, and it's a new planned out dungeon, and then you can do a randomly generated version of that one, and you just kind of go, and eventually you get new chalices that do this one has a whole different palette set, whole different set of enemies and everything. You do the same thing, and you just kind of grind through those, and like you're going for like some late game bosses, but they're the chalice dungeons are kind of scaled for like late, like they don't scale with New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So like the earlier chalice dungeons will always be easy, and the later ones will always be really hard. But it's just more. So I haven't beaten Bloodborne yet, but I'm not gonna really bother with beating all of the chalice dungeon stuff before I beat the game, because that's a lot. And as much relative fun as I was having, that was a freaking lot. I'm pretty close to beating the game. I've gone through. I went to Upper Cathedral Ward. I can get to Abriatis. I can fight her at any point I want. I haven't done it yet just because I'm almost through Murgo's Loft. I'm almost through the Nightmare of Mensis. And then I believe once I beat that, I'll be able to go and fight the final boss. And I've got all the umbilical cords I need for the true ending.
Mm-hmm. But have you been in the Orphan of Kos yet?
No, I haven't. Tell you what though, I did jump into the DLC.
Wow.
And frickin' Ludwig the Accursed kicked my butt.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a rough boss.
He kicked my butt harder than anything in Dark Souls 3, except maybe when I first tried Pontiff Sullivan back in the day.
Dang.
He is so hard. It took me hours to beat him. And at one point I had to stop and go farm for blood vials, because that's Bloodborne.
Yep.
Oh, it's a great game. Great fun game where I'm getting stuck on this boss and ramming my head against the wall, and the game says, "Hey, if you want to heal, you have to go somewhere else. Go farm." So then I run into the lecture hall and kill a bunch of goose students, and then I get a bunch of souls and buy blood vials. And then I buy a ton of blood vials, and I fight Ludwig, and I finally beat him. And it was one of the most satisfying things, because as hard as that boss is, it's a very well designed boss.
Yeah.
And I went into Old Hunters, the DLC, a bit early, so the area beforehand was pretty darn difficult, and I just kind of skimmed through it so I could get to Ludwig, because I wanted to get to Ludwig so that I could get to the next area. And I pretty much cleared out the next area. You kind of have to clear out the next area. Frickin' Living Failures took me a couple tries, because it's just a big old multi-enemy boss fight, and those are not... Those are always... It's decently designed, but it's no Ornstein and Smough. Ornstein and Smough is still probably the best multi-person boss fight in the series. It's the one that feels like the most well designed out of them all. It wasn't as frustrating as frickin' Man-Eaters in Demon's Souls though. I don't know if anything's gonna be as frustrating as that.
Yeah, that was enraging.
Yeah. But yeah, Living Failures were a pain, and then I got to Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower. What a fun fight.
Ooh, I've heard things about that one.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was so much fun to fight. Like, music's not as good as Ludwig the Accursed's second phase, but you know, that's like one of the best things of all time. But the music is almost up there, I'd say. And Lady Maria is, I'd say, for me, a more fun fight than Ludwig. That partly because I didn't have as much trouble, but also because the first phase of Ludwig is so difficult to get down, because he's got so many limbs and he can just hit you out of nowhere, so that you don't get as many tries on the second phase, which is very different but a lot easier.
Okay.
But yeah, Lady Maria's other phases are a lot more similar to her first phase, but it's just like it's the first phase, but with more attacks, and her regular attacks are powered up.
Yeah.
And she's just a really, really fun fight. And then after I beat her, I went into the next area a bit, and I was like, I want the Rakio. I want that weapon because I'm going skill. And as much as I like the Burial Blade, I've really just been sticking with my Threaded Cane because the Threaded Cane is really good, really fast, and the Burial Blade is better for crowd control. But I have the most trouble with bosses.
Yeah.
So I knew where the Rakio was. So I ran through the area, and I ran through, got that run down really well by the end of it, and I ran to the well. And I went down that well with the 2 frickin' shark giants. I frickin' hate that room more than almost anything in any Souls game. I think the only thing that's worse is the Bed of Chaos.
Wow.
This comes close to the Bed of Chaos and how much I hate it.
Wow.
It's so bad. You have to kill these 2 really powerful shark giant things because the whole last area of the DLC is not Shadow over Innsmouth. It's totally not Shadow over Innsmouth, guys. These are just evil fish people. It's not Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yep.
Don't worry. We just gave up and went full on H.P. Lovecraft. We got rid of all pretense. It's H.P. Lovecraft, guys.
Yeah.
Bloodborne is the best Lovecraft game.
Yep.
But yeah, I tried in that room over and over. There's one big one. You go down there. There's one big one, and he's carrying an anchor, and that anchor can hit you in just the dumbest ways. Because like he'll swing one way and you dodge, but you lost your iframes and the anchor's still touching you, so you got hit. They do these big all the shark giants do these big old charges, and with him he charges and then he flails about with the anchor, and it's just so wide. The swings are so wide and it's awful. You can backstab chain him, and I got that like once and killed him, but when he gets to half health, he runs over, and there's another frickin' shark giant without an anchor who's on the ceiling, and he drops down, and you gotta fight both at once.
Nice.
And the one without an anchor his swings aren't as wide, but he does have a grab attack that will one hit kill you.
Oh, nice.
As far as I'm aware, there's no way out of it. Like the mind flayers in the game, when they grab you, you can just mash the triggers as fast as you can to push them off sometimes, and they won't do as much damage or knock you down. But with these guys, I don't think there's any way to get past it, to get out of it. And you have to kill both for them to drop the Rakio, which is the coolest weapon in the DLC, in my opinion. Like, the Holy Moonlight Sword is really cool, but I'm not going Strength and Arcane, so, I'm going all skill, and the Rakio is all skill. So the way you do it, if you can't backstab chain the first giant, what you do is when you get him down to half health, you stab him with what's called a Shaman Bone Blade, and it's a weapon that causes the enemies to fight that one. They all suddenly hate that one and they fight it. So when he starts running over, you stab him with the Shaman Bone Blade, but the problem is the Shaman Bone Blade has to be has like a very short range, so you have to be within melee range, so you have to run up to him and try to hit him with it before they both drop down and start going after you, which is a pain. If you do it, you have like, I think 20 seconds where they'll be fighting each other, and hopefully they'll kill one or the other. Hopefully. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'd hit him, and then I think I got out of sight too much, and they started going after me and didn't go after each other. It was a pain. And that took me, like, I think, actually over an hour to kill these 2 enemies. I think it took me more time trying to get that weapon than it took me to beat Lady Maria. I don't know if it took me as much time to beat Ludwig, but I'm pretty sure it took me more time than it took to kill Lady Maria. So after that, I was like, I'm not going back into the DLC for a bit. I got the weapon I wanted, finally.
Is it everything you wanted?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
great.
good.
It's great.
It's
It's
like,
so cool. It's so
Okay.
cool. Was it worth it? I don't know. It's one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen because it's like a sword, but it's also got like a little dagger on the end, and when you do the transform, you break them apart, and it's sword and dagger.
Yeah.
And that's it's so cool. And then you slam them back together, and when you do the attacks, you slash, and then you do a thrust with the knife, and it's really cool. I love it. It's so much fun to use, and it's a nice change of pace because I've been using the threaded cane the entire game, and I love the threaded cane.
Yeah.
But it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
So now I just have both of those equipped, so I can just switch over whenever I want. And they're both at +9 now, so I just need to find some blood rocks, and then I'll be able to get them to +10. So yeah. So I went back and I went to more main game stuff, and I'm very close to beating it, and that will be fun. And I will go after Orphan of Kos. But first I gotta go back to the first area of the DLC and finish that off. But I for the longest time I was just rocking Gascoigne's set with like different gloves and pants, but just rocking Gascoigne's set the whole time because that coat and that scarf and that hat are the coolest. And then I get into the DLC and I'm like, you know what? I got these constable clothes and they make me look like someone out of the Civil War. You know, I think I'll go with those because I've gotten some other really cool sets, but my character has a ponytail, and like the knight set is really cool looking. The girl knight set looks really cool, but the ponytail clips through the collar, and I can't stand that.
Yeah.
So I went through with. So I got the constable set, and I went with that for a bit. But I kept Gascoigne's hat because the hat is cool, and the constable set hat you can only get by doing a covenant, and I don't like the way it looks because it's like this big metal helmet. Yeah. But then when I went to fight Lady Maria, I switched back over to Gascoigne because that looks cool in the cutscene. And then once I beat Lady Maria, I basically now just run her set because it looks amazing. It's the best looking set in the game. Right up there with Gascoigne's set. So, yeah, that game is great. I'd say it's probably the hardest FromSoft game I've played, with the possible exception of Sekiro. I think Sekiro might be harder.
Yeah.
So I'll beat Bloodborne, and then I'm going to try to beat Sekiro before Elden Ring comes out.
Let's see.
Because that comes out in February, at the end of February. And I can't wait. Hopefully I'll beat it with enough time to kind of cool off, so I won't be completely FromSoft out. But I think Elden Ring is going to be so different with it being completely open world that I won't have that issue.
Yeah, there's a few more games I want to beat before I get into FromSoft.
Yeah, and since Sekiro's gameplay is so different from Souls games, that should help with, not burning myself out before Elden Ring. Elden Ring is basically Dark Souls 3 combat, but with a few extra things. Yeah. When you're going through like Code Vein, and what was the other? Are you gonna finish off?
I want to get
God
through
Eater?
Code Vein, and then God Eater is different. Breath of the Wild. Because Breath of the Wild has another unique kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to beat the Master Sword Trial, so I want to keep that muscle memory in.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the Master Sword Trials.
Fair enough. And then there's one other game that I put a decent amount of time into, and that is the game you talked about playing a broken game that is aged like, not milk, but aged like cheese.
Oh boy.
I think that might have been lost. That analogy might have been lost in the lost
was.
time. But Vampire the Masquerade doesn't age like milk.
It aged like an old cheese.
An old
very
cheese.
odorous, but if you can push past that, it's still cheese.
Boy, I'll tell you what is aged like cheese. The Witcher 1.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes, it has.
Boy, oh boy. I am very close to beating The Witcher 1.
Yes.
Boy, that game aged like cheese. Like,
yes.
Parts of that game have aged beautifully. The music hasn't aged a day, with the exception of like Dandelion singing.
That's just horrendous.
That's just because the voice acting is terrible.
Yeah.
And the script is kind of awful. Like the story and the plot is great. Dialogue sucks because it's like written by someone whose first language is not English.
Whoopsies.
Oops. Yeah. And then like the gameplay, like everything outside of combat, aside from like fetch quests and stuff, which there's a lot of.
Yeah.
But the stories are generally good enough that the fetch quests are worthwhile. But the gameplay outside of combat, like preparing to, okay, I'm gonna fight this monster, so I need to prepare for this. So I need to.
So I want these potions.
I want these potions. I want these oils on my blade. I want these runes on my blade. I can only do a certain amount of potions before I start to get poisoning from the potions. So I need to prepare for that. Look, are there any signs that would be good to use? Let me plan that out. It's great. It's awesome.
You feel like a hunter. You feel like a witcher. You gotta plan for the hunt.
You do feel like a witcher, and then it's like, oh boy, I'm running low on money. Well, let me go gambling, and then because I have to buy out the in stock of high quality alcohol to make potions.
Yeah.
And
I just run around people's houses and steal all their liquor.
That you could do that too, but by the time I got in the game, no one had high quality liquor anymore.
Whoopsies! Oh no.
Because I'm in this old fishing village. They don't have high quality liquor.
Yeah, no, you want to do that while you're still in Wazima.
Yep, no, I didn't do that. I did manage to not run out. And I don't think I've had to buy alcohol except maybe once or twice.
Yep.
But and then it's great. It's so much fun. Just all that stuff outside of the combat. Then you get into combat, and it's the worst freaking thing I've ever played in my life. It's so bad.
I adjusted the jank pretty well.
I've adjusted to the jank.
Yeah.
But then it'll be like, okay, these enemies are weak to strong. Strong attack, parry, dodge, parry. Come on. All right, fine. Fast attack. Okay, they're taking like minuscule damage. All right. Oh, there's a bunch of enemies. All right, let me do group attack. Oh, one of them parried it.
Yep.
One of them dodged it, so I can't do the combo. It's, oh my gosh. And then in chapter 3, there's a bank robbery.
Oh yeah, the bank robbery.
This is the best example of everything in the game. The best freaking like summation of my experience with the game. I get to there's a bank robbery, and it's with this group, the Scoia'tael. They're robbing the bank, and the Order of the Flaming Rose is outside, and they're about to go in and just kill them all. And it's like, okay, well, I do know people in the Scoia'tael. Let me go talk to them. Let me go talk to them and see if we can come to an agreement. And you go in there, and you talk to the leader of the Scoia'tael. And he's like, no, you're with us or you're against us. And I'm like, I'm not getting into your politics, your political bullcrap. I'm not getting in the middle of this content. There's got to be a way to resolve this. And he's like, no, choose one or the other. And I had my head in my hands trying, like, this is such a difficult decision because I don't like either of these sides.
Yeah.
The Order of the Flaming Rose are religious zealots. Yep. The Scoia'tael are terrorists.
Yep.
They're both awful.
Yeah.
And it came down to I just like Siegfried more than I like
Siegfried more than the other guy.
More than the Scoia'tael guy. I don't even remember his name.
Yeah, but we know Siegfried.
I do know Siegfried.
Like, Siegfried is the good one.
Siegfried's a cool guy.
Like, he...
So I sided with the Order of the Flaming Rose. And it's just like, that was such a hard decision, and the game pulls it off wonderfully. Where Witchers are generally neutral. Geralt especially is generally neutral.
Very tried to be
neutral. You can't be neutral in this situation.
Not in this one. There are other situations where you can be neutral.
Yes.
And I tried to be able to, but not in the bank robbery.
Not at the bank robbery. And then you. So I said, I'm not gonna kill humans for you, buddy. I'm not gonna kill humans for you. And then he's like, you traitor. And then Siegfried comes in and is like, don't worry, Geralt, I got your back. And then And it's
It's like, see, this is why I went with Siegfried.
Siegfried's great.
Siegfried's got my back.
Siegfried's great. And then I go in, and then it's one of the worst combat encounters I've ever played in my life. I did so much. I had to reload my save so many times. I had to prep with so many different potions. I used a blizzard potion, which slows down time for everyone.
Did you learn how to make bombs?
No, I never did.
That's where you went wrong.
Apparently,
you need to make the bombs so that you can make the dragon's breath, drop it, shoot Igni, and it just kills everything within a 20-meter radius.
Apparently, but like that requires points into intelligence, man, and I'm putting points into strength and stamina. Strength, speed, and stamina. That's it. That's it. No intelligence.
No intelligence.
No intelligence.
Or Geralt.
I'm putting Geralt as just a dumb brute.
So, I mean, come on. Geralt isn't the smartest person, but he's not that dumb.
I'm not smart enough to make the bombs. But that, oh my gosh, that combat sequence was so bad. I did so many things, and eventually I brute forced my way through. But the problem was, like so many of the enemies would just parry everything or dodge everything I did. But eventually I did brute force my way through with a blizzard potion and a couple others. I know Swallow, obviously.
Yeah, just
Swallow's a mainstay because Swallow just increases your regen by a ton.
By a lot. You kind of just need it.
Yep, it's the one I keep on my hot slot.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the other one I did. I think it was like one that just increases my knockdown maybe or something like that. And I put a rune on. Was it a rune? I think it was actually just diamond dust on my blade, which is just 40% extra damage.
Yeah.
And that I finally brute forced my way through. And then there's another combat encounter right after that was almost as bad.
Man, I did not have nearly as much problem with the combat as you have.
Yeah.
What did I do different?
You did bombs, apparently.
It wasn't just bombs. Groups. I think I just put most of the points into group.
That might have been it, because I pretty evenly spread out my...
No, I had maxed out group. Because there's so many group encounters that it's just...
Yeah.
I think that might be
That might have been it. So that I finally got through that. And then I had a pretty good time for the rest of the combat. You know, I go around and I'm gonna hunt this big ol' monster. Oh no, they all start running after me. I'm running. Yes, the wyverns.
Oh man, that is near impossible.
Like, wait, no, it wasn't the wyverns. It was the wolf. But the wolf was right close to the wyverns, so I stayed away from the wyverns. But there were a bunch of other like ghoul enemies that started running after me, like scimitars and things like that.
The big explodey ones.
Not the blood geysers, the blood geysers, but it's like you have ghouls, algors, and then you have graviers, and then scimitars.
Just the big
burly ones. And there were a couple of those running after me, and it's like, all right, I got the giant wolf head. I'm running, and I just started running. And then I turn that in, and then I go the next day, and it's like, okay, these wyverns are really tough. I'm going to just kind of sneak up. All right, I pulled one. Backstep. Kill him. All right, let me go draw another one. Backstep. Kill him.
Yeah.
And I eventually got it to where it's like, okay, it's just the one, and I got him.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun though. That was a lot of fun though.
Yeah. Gotta be sneaky.
Yeah, and then so chapter 3 ends with a big old bang, and it was a really cool story moment. We're finally going after the criminal organization. We've been going after the whole game. You got to take out the Salamandra, go into their base and take them out.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
It was great. And Siegfried's with me, and I open up the portal. Order of the Flaming Rose comes in. It's cool because they're all like Templar Knights and stuff.
They're all Templar Knights that just charge in,
and they're great. And I help them out. I kill all the enemies, and then I go after the professor. And a cutscene. Oh no! And the cutscene's jank, but you know whatever. And then I go. Then it's like, okay, professor's running away. Let me go after him. All right, let's go. And then I get there, and then I beat all the enemies around. Before him, and then I go up, and he summons 2 giant Kikimor warriors, and I'm like, oh jeez, I'm just gonna try to gun for the professor. No, wrong decision. Got to take out the Kik. Dang it, I died. All right, reload the save. All right, well, back to right before the fight. So I go back, do the fight again, and then I save this time.
Yep.
And then I go after the professor. I kill all the enemies before him, and this time I take out the Kikimors first, and then I go after him. I hit the finishing blow on him, and then the game crashes.
Oh no.
The game was like, and then it crashed.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh no, no. So then I go for it again. I run out to the professor, fight the enemies before him, and then as I'm about to land the finishing blow on one of those guys, crash.
Nice.
Oh, that's not good at all.
It's not good. And then I verify the game files. I verify the local file integrity. And then I'm like, okay, everything's good. So then I go in again. I beat the guys before the professor. I kill the Kikimores. I kill the professor. Finally, it goes through. Woo! And I get the cutscene. And it's like, oh boy, it's a big old encounter with this thing. I'm going to save right now, as soon as I'm allowed to. I'm going to save. All right, the Kikimore Queen's there. Okay, let me see. Oh, it kills me in one hit. Okay.
Oh, you still gotta run.
Yeah.
Just run to knock down
Yeah,
the
I know.
doors.
Run. Okay, I run. What do I do? And then I run into this big old room that has a bunch of Kikimores, and I start fighting them with group style, and the Kikimore's there, and then I get killed by all the Kikimores because it's just too many of them. And it's like, and then Geralt, and then I reload save again, start running. It's like, and Geralt's like, the sports. Maybe I push them down. I'm like, push down the sports. Can I attack them? And then it kills me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to... Oh, Ard.
Yeah.
I've completely forgot about the signs. So then I do Ard. Okay, didn't kill him. Let me run a bit further. Ard. Okay, Ard. All right. Okay. And I run into this room. I run into this room, and I can do Ard. So I do Ard, and I get crushed.
Yeah.
Because, you're supposed to run out of the room.
Yep.
But it was funny. The first time I used Ard on one of the supports, it immediately crushed me because I was a little too close.
Just a little too close. Yeah.
It just immediately flattens Geralt. It's pretty funny.
All these boss fights have like just big gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like they're not straight up bosses.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Even Chapter 4. Chapter 4 was weird.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that in a bit. Then it's like, okay, all right. So I know it now. There's this big old like side hallway that I'm obviously supposed to run into that. So I do. So I go stall him. Then I run into the big room, and then I hit the things, and I run into the hallway. Run all the way to the end of the hallway, and I turn around to watch it. The rocks fall, and I die. And I'm like, okay, obviously I did something wrong. Maybe I'm not supposed to go in here because I'm obviously not safe. Turns out I was supposed to do that, run into that little hallway, but I got a bug where it just killed me that one time.
That one time.
But then I looked it up and it's like, yes, that's what you're supposed to do. So I did it and it worked that time.
Okay.
And I finally got through.
That's a lot of problems.
Yeah, it was so many issues. So many.
I did not have this many issues. Is it because my laptop's older?
Maybe, like my computer, I can hear it whirring running The Witcher 1. So maybe that's...
It's like, what the crap is this?
It's like, listen, man, I don't know what to do with this. This is Eurojank of Eurojank.
Yep. It's like, what do you want me to do with this?
So then I get to Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is the best chapter in the whole game.
Yep, the Lovecraftian one.
Yes, it's so good. Oh my gosh. Just... Honestly, running through the field area, like the farmland area, actually reminded me of Dantooine in Knights of the Old Republic.
Huh.
It reminded me so much of that, and the setup for the story in Chapter 4 kind of reminded me of that too, with a wedding going on, because Dantooine has like a Romeo and Juliet situation going on in one of its side quests, and it's like, this kind of reminds me of that. And then the quest line continues, and this is not at all like Knights of the Old Republic. This is very Witcher.
Yep.
This is very Witcher, and it was, it was great. And then you get to the Lovecraftian stuff with the Lady of the Lake and everything, and that was great. And then there's the whole thing with Dagon, they say Dagon, but I say Dagon.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, fight a god, but don't actually though.
Don't actually though.
I prepped for that fight really well. I didn't have any issues, but I did kind of look up what I was supposed to do beforehand.
Oh no shame. I looked all that stuff up too.
These fights are stupid.
Oh yeah.
I mainly looked up like how do I don't want to side with either the village or the Vodunoi.
Yeah.
But you have to choose which item. But it wasn't so much that I didn't want to side with either one. It was like I was supposed to read the inscription on the statue beforehand to know what items I was supposed to get, and I didn't. So I get the choice of what item to choose, and there's no option to back out.
Uh-oh.
So I'm like, I'm just going to look this up. I don't care. This is The Witcher 1. I don't care. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
So that was when I saw like, oh, for Dagon to fight, just fight the priest. Don't fight Dagon.
Yeah.
Because he does not die.
Nope.
You cannot fight him. Even using group style does not work that well because he does not. It doesn't work against him, so it just stops your combo. But yeah, that was fantastic. It did have probably the worst of the romance, quote unquote romances in the game. Like the Witcher 1 romances are terrible.
Oh yeah.
Except for Triss and Shani. And that's because they actually have development over many chapters.
Yeah.
Triss, I don't like Triss.
Yeah.
Because I read the books.
Yeah.
And Triss, with that context, Triss is a manipulative, evil person. Like, actually evil. Like, I'm disgusted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure part of it is that her voice acting sucks and her writing sucks because it's The Witcher 1.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that wasn't their intention when they wrote this.
yeah, and I'm sure it was not their intention.
But with the context of the books and what's the choices that she makes.
Yeah. If there were a bit more of reluctance on her end, it'd be one thing, but there's no reluctance at all because it's The Witcher 1 and there's no reluctance with any of the female romance options.
Yep.
But this is the game where in Chapter 1, one of the first romance options you have is you walk up to a peasant girl, she's like, I like flowers, and then you go and you give her a flower, and she's like, oh, this is so pretty, and the girl's like, hey, let's go behind the barn, and then, oh, you get a very blurred out stock sex scene that you can't even see, and then a little trading card of the peasant girl.
Yep,
in a very scantily clad position.
He's like, oh, I like tulips. My boyfriend used to give me tulips. I'm like, well, I found these tulips on a dead carcass that was probably your boyfriend.
Yeah, but Chapter 4 might have the worst with this elf lady in the cave, where the elves in Chapter 4 are like, we're starving. Can you help us out? And I helped him out because I'm a nice guy. I'm not siding with Scoia'tael or anything.
But they're
they're
nice. Are starving.
And they're starving. So yeah, I'll help them out. And then you go into the cave, and this elf lady is like, I'm so hungry, and if you have food on her, you give her the food, and she's like, oh, I'm not taking charity from you, stupid Dwan. And you have this whole big argument, this big old argument, like she's bitter. And it ends with you going in and doing the sexy times. So you get a little trading card. That's probably the worst one in the game, but there are some that are just as bad almost.
Pretty bad ones.
I did get the neutral path. I did get the Witcher path.
Did you find the brothel in Vizima?
Yes.
But then.
Yes. The House of the Night.
The House of the Night.
Yeah, that was actually one that I didn't mind as much because the whole side quest surrounding it was really good.
Yeah. Did you do the side quest? Where you had to side with?
Yeah. I did I side with? I think I just sided with the ladies.
Yeah, same because they name dropped.
Yeah, they name dropped freaking Regis. So I'm gonna side with
them. It's like, oh hey, I know Regis, and I'm like, you.
You're you. I like you.
It's like, oh hey, you know Regis? Cool. I side with you.
I like Regis is
get out.
Regis
get
is
out.
The best side character in The Witcher.
Pretty much.
In the Witcher books.
It's like, I'm really glad you were there with Regis in his final days. And I'm like,
I like you. I like you a lot.
I'm gonna turn a blind eye. You get out.
Yeah. Also that was just the game mechanics work so well in that moment where I go up and I think.
And
you
always think it's a bug.
But the problem is it's in The Witcher 1, so I think it's a bug.
But it's not. There's two instances where it's not, and it works so well.
It's so well. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But yeah, I'm following like a little checklist so I get all of the romances that I can because.
Man, I didn't bother with that. Even I didn't bother to do that completion.
Listen. It's so stupid.
I have my pride.
It's so stupid, and it's out of character for Geralt, but it's hilarious, and it's a checklist, and most of them are just like stuff I'm already doing, like give this lady some Kikimore claws.
Yeah.
Or don't. You could just offer to pay her and then not pay her anything.
Whoop.
And she's like, "Oh, you're treating me like some tavern whore. Oh, my husband never does this. You're such a man." It's so bad. It's awful. It's awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's hilarious. But then, like, everywhere else I play it like Geralt would play it, which means I end up going down the neutral route, because when you come to that decision...
This sounds an awful lot like not Witcher problem.
Yeah.
Grab Alvin and go.
This sounds an awful lot like a problem where I'm just gonna take my people and go.
Yep.
That's the most Geralt thing to do. That's the entirety of the Witcher books.
Yep,
the entirety of the Witcher books is Geralt is all this political drama is going on, all this war and everything is going on, and Geralt's like, I don't care.
I do not
Leave me alone. I'm trying to save my kid.
Yep. It's like, I don't care. I'm grabbing kid and leaving.
And
like
then
the one time that really stands out is like the Battle of the Bridge. It's like the one time where he kind of interferes.
Yes. What
was the reason? Were there like civilians or something?
What's her face was like.
Oh, the archery girl kind of started it.
She was having a miscarriage.
A miscarriage at the time, and he had to fight.
He's like, I have to keep them away from her.
Yes. So that was like the one time. Because a friend.
Yeah. It's like... The Witcher is so good about... These political conflicts are so stupid.
Yeah.
You have to pick a side.
You have to pick a side.
Sometimes you have to pick a side. Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can weasel out of it.
But sometimes you have to pick a side. And
it's two bad options, and you have to...
Mm-hmm.
There is no good option. You just have to kind of work in your own mind of what...
Yeah. And you have to come up with your own reasons for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
For choosing what you choose. And if you choose a neutral option, you're probably going to get screwed over.
Yeah.
And you do in Chapter 5.
Yeah, because now both sides kind of...
Now both sides hate you, and both sides attack you on sight.
Mm-hmm. Including
Siegfried. Siegfried, at some point, I haven't run into him.
Yeah, he does, though.
Unfortunately.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. I think I'm actually, like, at least, like, halfway through Chapter 5. I don't think it's as long.
I actually weaseled out of the fight with the elf leader, dude.
Oh, you did?
Because he's like, I'm going to kill you because my lover is dead. And you're like, no, you killed her. This is what you wanted. The city is on fire. Your people are dying. This is what you wanted. And he kind of gives up.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm like, I didn't expect that to work, but okay.
It is what he wanted.
It's like, no, this is your fault. This is exactly what you wanted.
I am excited to see, like, what choices carry over into The Witcher 2.
Not much, I don't think.
I know, like, my romance with Shani doesn't carry over.
Yeah.
Like, I romance Shani because Triss disgusts me.
Yeah, same. Pretty much.
Like, Shani, like...
I did give Alvin to
Triss.
To Triss, more from, like, a character story standpoint.
Yeah, I can see that being justified more than Shani.
Yeah.
But I trust Shani more than Triss, because...
And that's fair. But I thought, if he has magic is super dangerous if left untamed in The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Better give him to a mage.
Yeah. But, oh man, those nurses in Chapter 5, that's terrible also.
Oh, yeah.
That romance option is terrible also, because you run into Old Vizim's on fire.
Yep.
And you run into these two nurses if you're on the neutral path. They're the neutral path romance option. Because you only in Chapter 5 there's one romance, and it depends on which route you're on.
Mm-hmm.
And if with the neutral option you get these two nurses, and you run into Old Vizim and it's on fire, and these two nurses like, help, you're a friend of Shani, you're Shani's friend, right? Help us, we need to get to the hospital. And you get to the hospital and they're like, oh, thank you so much, Witcher. We'd love to repay you, but not while Shani's around. And so as soon as Shani goes to the swamp, you can go back there, and they're like, oh, Witcher, you helped us so much. Melitelli, save us. Oh, I pray Melitelli does something or whatever. And then it's just, it's awful. It's so bad. I do it for the laughs. Because I do think sometimes it's so bad it's hilarious. Like there's this one elf lady who's like who like is you proposition her, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? The fate of the world is in the balance, and all you can think about is sex. Mm-hmm. Oh, what the hell, strip." And that's the line.
It's like, what the hell?
It's, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, but I did do easily the 2 most important side quests in the game.
You got all the monsters and.
Oh no.
Oh
I got so good at poker that the king asked me to play poker with him.
Oh yeah.
And I played poker with him, and I beat the crap out of him.
Oh, that's a good way to get some extra cash at the end.
Oh boy, I got 12,000 gold.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what to do with it.
Don't worry, you're fine. Don't worry, because you're in the middle of the gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Actually, I don't think there's even a shop to spin it on, so I
don't know if there is.
What do you spin it on? I don't know.
I don't know.
Geralt needs the money, probably.
Maybe some of it will carry over to Witcher 2. Probably not, but
No. I think all that carries over is like
the swords
and the armor, which are just kind of slightly better than like
slightly better than your starting stuff.
Yeah, which for balancing reasons is fair.
That's fair. Yeah,
I
would have liked if they would have been able to like carry you to like mid game or something like that.
Yeah. But like after the first chapter, you end up in prison, so I usually kind of ditch it anyway as like story.
Yeah. But then and the other most important side quest, I beat up an old man in a cave.
Oh yeah, the boxing.
Yeah, fist fight. And I beat him twice, so I really did beat him.
Oh, you beat him super good.
He gave me less trouble than the guy before him.
Oh, well, he's old.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be the Grand Master.
Yeah, but he's old.
Yeah. I was a little shocked after the chapter 2 and 3 being in basically the same area but expanded in chapter 3. Yeah. Chapter 4 and 5 are in completely different areas.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
You kind of thought that it would just keep expanding.
Yeah, you thought like at least like chapter 5 would come back and you'd get those blocked off areas in Vizima.
No.
But nope. You go to Old Vizima and
maybe
it's
they
all
ran
on
out of
fire.
time.
Maybe they ran out of time.
Ran out of time.
They may have ran out of time. I don't know. Does the ending look like they ran out of time?
It wraps up enough.
Well, does the epilogue, gameplay-wise, look like they ran out of time? Is it just a gauntlet?
It's kind of, it's a gauntlet.
Yeah. Well, the swamp is not giving me much trouble at all because even though drowners spawn everywhere, I have a little talisman that repels them.
Ooh, nice.
So I don't have to deal with them. Even though drowners with my silver sword, with Arondite, I can kill in 1 hit with fast attacks, and drown dead, I can kill in 2.
Yep.
Sometimes 1 if I get a crit.
Yep.
Blood geysers are the only things that usually take 2. Well, no, blood geysers usually take 2, but sometimes they take 1 as well.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they'll explode on each other and kill themselves.
Yeah. I like to kind of just kite them around into a big group and just spam Igni until one of them explodes, and then that generally dominoes effects into all of them.
Yeah. But yeah, I am playing Geralt as close to the books as I can, which means I'm very neutral, and
that's what I try to.
And he's a bit of a hopeless romantic. Except for I'm just going around getting all those trading cards.
Woo!
But
gotta catch them all.
Here's the issue though. When you do that, you get a little entry in the gallery,
I know.
and it tells you a little more about the information. Sometimes it's dumb joke stuff like when you do the city people as opposed to the peasant people. It's like the city people have a bit more of a refined taste, and it's awful, but it's kind of funny. But it's also awful.
It's also awful.
It's like it's on the checklist. I might as well. So.
Even I didn't bother to do that one.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I hope there's a blacksmith at some point where I can reforge a lot of swords and put those really nice runes on there and those nice upgrades. I don't know if I can reforge Arondite at all.
No.
Didn't think so. But I'll get the really good sword from all the trophies.
Yep.
So I'll have a good steel sword and a good silver sword.
Yep.
For the end of the game.
Yeah, because I think you get one for the
trophies.
And there's another one for teeth.
I don't know if I've gotten all the teeth.
Okay, I think it's too late to turn them in anyway.
Yeah, it probably is.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could probably. Arondite's pretty good anyway.
Yeah, Arondite's good, and I'll get a good steel sword.
Yeah, the best steel sword in
the best steel sword in the game.
So yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. So yeah, that's that game. That is, I'm almost done with it. I will come back after I'm finished with it, and I'll probably talk a little bit about Witcher 2 because I'll probably have some time to put some time into that. Yeah,
I've been wanting to put some time in Witcher 2 as well.
Witcher 2 is a better game. I've heard that some people don't like it as much as Witcher 1 because it's not as witchery.
Yeah.
Gets a little more Game of Thronesy than witchery.
Yeah.
Which is...
I hear there's no neutral path, like you have to pick a side.
Well, yeah, because instead of it being like a different path in the same game, it's like 2 different games.
2 very different paths.
It's like...
Two very different stories. Everyone says, play it twice.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Just play it twice because, like, you... I think it's like, give someone a sword or help this person. And then that's where it splits, and then it's like, oh, you're on a completely different story path.
Yep.
Like, I think they both end in a similar place, but until then, it is a completely different game.
Yep.
Which is cool.
So that'd be fun. Replayability.
Yeah.
And I hear it's super short anyway, so...
Oh, is it?
I hear it's pretty short.
Well, I put almost 50 hours into The Witcher 1, so that'd be nice if it wasn't as long as that.
Quite as long, yeah. We'll see. Probably adds up if you do like side quests and whatnot. But...
Yeah, probably. Well, it's an RPG.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I'll get to The Witcher 3, an actually good game.
And then we'll get to The Witcher 3, and that'll be the rest of our lives.
Yeah, basically.
Apparently The Witcher 3 is super long.
Super long. Hundreds of hours with the base game, not even including the DLC.
Good grief. That's going to be my life.
But we will love it because we read the books.
Yep.
And we'll finally get Yennefer and Ciri again.
Yay!
Finally. And I think
I actually got my mom hooked on the Witcher books.
Oh, yeah. Did she start with Last Wish?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I gave her the list.
Good. I'll have to read Season of Storms.
I liked it.
And then I'll have to watch the series to see if it gets any better. Because I've heard Season 1 is rough.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
But I like Henry
Everyone
Cavill.
says the second season's really good.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I
heard it deviated from the books, though.
Well, that's fine. That means it can do more its own thing, and I can separate it from the books.
Yeah, true. And again, Henry Cavill is good.
I like Henry Cavill, and also apparently they've got a completely different costumer for Season 2. Thank you! That Nilfgaardian armor in Season 1 looks terrible. It looks so bad. You compare the Nilfgaardian armor in The Witcher 3 to the Nilfgaardian armor in the series, it's gross. It is terrible looking. Like, the Nilfgaardian armor in Witcher 3 is like this really nice black and gold gothic armor. And then in the series, it looks like a modern military kind of Kevlar looking vest with these like veins running across it, and it's all black, and the helmets look terrible too. It just looks bad. So, but they got a new costumer, and hopefully, well, Netflix, please get someone new to do your wigs. Geralt's wig looks bad. Vicious's wig in Cowboy Bebop looks even worse somehow. Like, oh my gosh, get someone who can actually do wigs over there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that is finally all I've done.
I'll have a Witcher one. A lot of Witcher.
A lot of Witcher. I can't wait for more. I hate this game. I also love this game.
Yep.
What a terrible game. I love it.
Yep.
That's the most true of the Witcher one out of any game I've ever played in my life.
Yep.
It might end up being the worst game I've beaten. It surpassing Dark Souls 2. In fact, yeah, it will surpass Dark Souls 2, but I hate Dark Souls 2.
Yep.
So tells you something. Anyway, that is about it. We have been going in this recording for over 2 hours, which means we've been going for close to 4 hours in real time.
Yeah, and we lost a whole half the episode.
I apologize, everybody. Yeah. Hopefully it won't happen again, but technical difficulties do happen. Yeah. At some point, we're probably just gonna, figure out a system that's easier.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Metal Gear Rising Revengeance for a while.
Yes, we did.
Because that's ranted and raved about how memes are the DNA of the soul.
Memes are the DNA
and how
of the
fun
soul.
the gameplay is.
Yes. And how hilarious Senator Armstrong is.
Yeah. Oh, a lot about Senator Armstrong.
A game that has him in for 2 minutes until the last half hour of the game.
Yep.
And he completely overshadows the entire game. Yep. Every villain in the game even the ones that have been built up through the entire game, like Sundowner and Sam, are completely overshadowed by Armstrong, who shows up with like 30 minutes to go.
Yep.
What a good villain. Anyway, this is for you guys. I'm sorry, but this has been mostly a Zach episode.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay.
This will be the episode that we lost to time.
Yeah. Oh well.
Along with probably some other ones that got lost to time because Audacity decided to just die.
Yeah. Well.
Oh well. Well,
at some point you're getting an Elizabeth fight.
yes, you will get to make up for that. We'll be getting you that Elizabeth fight pretty soon here. It will come out and you will love it because it's Mitchell's greatest achievement. It's all downhill from here, buddy.
It's like, well, I would like to think of some other things I've done as greater achievements.
Nope, it's all downhill from here.
Oh man.
Unless you decide to go and get into SMT.
Nah.
Because then you can fight the Demi-Fiend in SMT5, that DLC fight with the protagonist against the protagonist of SMT3.
Nah.
I've heard that fight is
I forgot to
absolute
mention,
crap.
I totally gave up on SMT5 because I realized the amount of effort I was putting into the game was greater than the amount of fun that I was getting out.
Fair enough. I would recommend trying out SMT4 because it's a smoother transition into the game. Like, SMT5 takes a bit before it really gets going. SMT4 starts off really strong.
Okay.
And the premise will be... The premise, at the very least, the premise is going to be really interesting to start off because it doesn't start off like an SMT game. Or like a normal SMT game. It's not what it seems.
Okay.
The game is not what it seems. It's really interesting, though. I need to put more time into both of those games because Shin Megami Tensei is a good series and I like it a lot.
Yep.
Well, I like it. I like it from afar. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a game that I wish I liked more because that combat system is so good.
It is a good combat system. I do like the combat system in that game.
Like, I really like Persona's combat system. I like SMT5. I like SMT's combat system more than Persona, but Persona is easier to play and just kind of relax and chill out with.
Yeah.
Whereas SMT is better, but I really have to focus and pay attention, so I can't just zone out. But yeah. Anyway, that's an episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably once you guys get out of here, I'm probably gonna not go to sleep and play more Witcher 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just let me know when you fight the final boss and beat him.
Is it a pain?
Well, I didn't have too much trouble with it.
Did you use a bunch of bombs or did you mostly use swords?
I just use swords.
Okay, then I shouldn't have too much
I was
trouble.
honorable and fought with swords.
Good. Is it who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
I think it's the main. I think it's either gonna be the guy who I've been searching for, or the other salamander guy. Like you find the guy in chapter 4.
Okay, do you find the guy?
The guy who's been missing the whole time, and then you find him in chapter 4. Like you kind of been chasing.
Oh, the Witcher.
Yeah.
The other Witcher did now.
Yeah. Okay. Is it just the other salamander guy? I'm pretty sure it's him. It's either that or he's going to be the boss of chapter 5. Mitchell's just staring at me.
You let me know.
Oh boy, it's
let me know what
going to be some dumb monster.
You let me know what happens.
It's going to be some dumb monster.
Let me know what happens.
Well, I know it's not full test because I know full test is in frickin' Witcher 2.
Yeah, it's not full test. Let me know what happens.
I think I know what the boss of chapter 5 is going to be.
All right, let me know what happens.
I think either that or that's just the main quest line in chapter 5. Anyway, I hope that game ends well, and I hope you guys you listening at home have a good whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Day, week, whatever it is for you. Have fun, and don't die.
Yep.
I'll try not to.
Yes.
So you don't either.
Yes, you don't either, listener. Don't you die because...
Oh man, we forgot about Alcatraz versus the evil librarians.
Oh yeah.
I think we lost that one.
Alcatraz versus the evil librarians.